Faith-consistent investing is about aligning ourselves, I think, with the values that we hold, and as a religious congregation, those values are what we're gathered around, they're what are at the heart of our whole mission, and it's now about bringing those values to our understanding of how our money is invested and how our money works, that's in line with how our people would have worked in ministries over time.
So in our faith, Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh faith, has emphasized that any money or any earnings that you have must be shared with those who are less fortunate, less privileged, or who are downtrodden in the society, or who don't have the voice.
For me, faith-consistent investing relates to a frame of ethics and a set of parameters that, if you like, are faith-friendly, that will allow faiths to participate in investments, in social and climate-related investments.
One level, I thought it would be a simple thing of saying, okay, we know what you're against, what are you for, where are you going to put your funds? It's turned out to be a wee bit more complicated than that. But the inexorable logic that if you believe this about our role or our place, for example, within nature, should that not affect everything that you do and not just keep a section called money partitioned off? That's what faith-consistent investing is.
So faith-consistent investing, I think of as a process. It's not a black and white thing. Either you are faith-consistent or you're faith-inconsistent. It's essentially trying to apply a rubric of values and ethics and standards to how you conduct your affairs.
As I think about all the organizations in the world, faiths are the most natural ones to have beliefs, teachings, and values. They don't need to have a conference about what are our beliefs, teachings, and values. They've had them for hundreds or thousands of years. And their challenge really is reflecting those beliefs, teachings, and values and how they invest. But there's a positive side to this as well. If faiths think about their assets and their investments as another way to express their faith values along with their teachings and their actions and their engagement with their communities, it's just another way for them to express their beliefs, teachings, and values and their view of the world in the world.
Faith-consistent investing means two things. First of all, it means actively seeking out investment opportunities. We're a climate justice organization. It means actively seeking out investment opportunities that further climate justice goals, create green job opportunities and related training, accelerate the spread of renewable energy for those communities that don't have access to modern forms of energy. So it's leading with a specific values-driven application. It also means challenging the existing structures within the asset management world that are counter to our values, things that continue to support fossil fuel and deforestation related industries. So it's supporting what's good and it is directly challenging things that are destructive.
The biggest challenge is that your current managers will tell you, well, yes, that's all very well, Father, but do you want to make any money? And I've been helped to see how you deal with that. I think the biggest opportunity is the growing number of fund managers who are keen to help faith-based communities to address this process.
I think the challenges are ones of understanding and cross-sector collaboration. There are cultural challenges, there are values challenges, but most of all, I think it's a question of acquaintance and motivation. To the extent that we have a common understanding and a common language for the possibility of huge, urgent, scalable change.
You know, people of faith are inspired to work hard, to do good, and to be good. And they are also some of the world's best entrepreneurs and finance leaders. However, you wouldn't know that if you were to read a business textbook or to go to business school or a professional school, because faith has been removed from all the equations.
Many faiths know what they don't want to do. And in fact, when we work and talk with faith asset owners, they often have restricted lists. So things they don't want to own, things they don't want to invest in. But I think the challenge from here, and faiths know this, going forward is really reflecting the things they want to do that express their faith in how they invest and in the world from there. So it's about really determining the things you want to do with your assets.
There are a couple of main challenges. One is a crisis of confidence. It is too easy, too often, for all of us to worry that investing consistent with our values will diminish the impact that our investments need to have for our religious communities as well as for the world. We need to take that fear on directly. There are good opportunities. We must be committed to identifying them, and we must be committed to a multifaceted understanding of what return means, not just market rate financial returns, social returns, environmental returns, gender-related returns. So I think that's one thing is truly grappling with the belief that we have about the purpose of our investments. The second is dealing with a finance sector that, to put it mildly, has a long way to go before it reflects values that will allow the planet, the human species, and millions of other species to survive and to thrive. So we've got to be willing to take on that challenge of engaging vigorously with the finance sector as it stands, and to look it in the eye and to say that it must shift, out of a sense of human decency.
The biggest opportunity is that as the fourth largest section of the investing world, in collective clusters, so for example all the Anglican funds around the world, or all the Lutheran, or all the major Muslim networks of funding, or the major work with in the Vatican, they are big enough to be able to not be ignored, and in fact to be more positive than that, to actually go to the market and say, we don't want that, but we do want this, and we are we can bring billions, or in fact on occasions perhaps even $1 trillion into this market to make it possible for there to be alternative ways of investing that are good for the planet.